Okay, so we're going to continue on making decisions here for product cake in the traditional segment. The next thing we have to do is our capacity planning, and this picks up from previous calculations we did in this spreadsheet. Everybody gets one shift with 800 units of capacity, and if you need to produce two units if you need to produce 1600 units, you need to run two shifts, which would give you 1600 units of capacity. We have to calculate how short we are on capacity so we can buy more capacity. So how you do this is, you first of all, everyone gets 800 from their first shift. The required capacity is 2164. So that means that we are short by 2164 minus 800, which gives us, we're short by 1364. Now, what I'm going to do here is a little dipsy doodle. We really have 1600 units of capacity if we work a second shift, and because that means we could take 800 on the first shift, 800 on the second shift. Our requirements are 2164, so that means we're really only short this much capacity, 564 units. If we add that to the first shift, I think what we can do is take that and divide it by 2 and buy 282 more units of capacity. And that's what I would type in for my production decision, is that I'm going to buy 282 more units of capacity. Okay, so you can see what I did here was, this is my existing capacity with 2 shifts. This is my production plan. This is my shortfall, and this was the amount of capacity to buy. Now, another way you could do it is you could just buy enough capacity so that you can then do it all on the first shift and then save second shift overtime. And so if you were to do that, that would mean your existing capacity is 800. Your production plan is 2164 from above, so your shortfall is going to be this minus that. You could this minus that, and I think this cell needs there. We could then also buy 1364. We could buy 1364 units of capacity and run only one shift, but that's going to cost a lot of money, and you only decide whether to do this one or this one after you look at your pro formas in Capsim. Okay, so I have a decision made. I'm probably going to go with this one above because I'm going to be conservative in how much I spend, and I'm going to buy 282 units of capacity to accommodate my production plan. Okay, so that's another decision made right there. I'm going to buy 282 units of capacity. Now the next decision you have to make is automation. Basically, if you're following a differentiation strategy, you don't invest very heavily in automation until your product is really well positioned. You've got to be able to position it quickly, and the more you spend on automation, the less you have in labor costs, but then the slower it is for you to make changes to your production system because your equipment isn't flexible. So what we do is we go into the production analysis above here and we look for product cake, and we see automation is going to be 4 next round based on, and you know what, I'm only going to automate a little bit because I know we had low contribution margin. I'm going to just automate a tiny bit, like maybe get it up to 4.5 or 5, probably 5. Our products will be fairly well positioned, but I'm going to go, because we're following a differentiation strategy, I'm not going to go nuts with it. I'm going to go automation, increase to 5. The higher the number, the more automation. Okay? Always check your strategy when making these decisions. Cost leadership strategies go really heavy on automation early. The differentiation strategies only automate later on after they get their products just perfectly positioned. Okay? And that's how we would do that. And then the last thing you want to do is the financial decisions. You want to go into your pro formas and your cash balance in pro formas. You want to look in Capsim and see what your ending cash position is. You want to end with a positive cash position. If it turns out that you're in a negative cash position, then what you want to do, if cash is negative, you need to go back. You can try to issue stock, and your strategy will tell you I think we prefer issuing stock in a differentiation strategy rather than taking on debt. We can issue stock, or we can issue debt, meaning take out a loan, or we can reduce spending on R&D, automation, or capacity. Check your strategy as to what's most important. If I was to sacrifice, my first place I would sacrifice would be on automation, because I'm following a differentiator strategy for this particular product. Second probably would be capacity, and last of all would be R&D, because the customer's buying decision is influenced by the age of the product, so I need to make sure I R&D it. Okay, so that's what you do in order, in a kind of a iterative way, to make sure that you end up with a positive cash position for that particular product. And then you repeat the process again for the other products that you have. So I hope that helps enlighten you as to how to do decisions in the overwhelming amount of data found in Capsim Capstone. Thanks.